Hello, Dr. Sam Dubé here once again for the Toronto Business Journal, and I'm joined today with Colin Emberson, who is the Vice President of Retail for Megabus. Now, Colin, can you tell us a little bit about Megabus? Actually, let me just mention this. When I was a kid, and I talked to you already about this, the big monikers we would see on these huge buses going from city to city would be like Voyager and Greyhound. Those are the ones I remembered. I remember, my father driving along and the buses would just whip past us, and we would try and wave and the windows would be tinted and everything. But, I have some fond memories of that and riding these buses. Now, something happened to Greyhound, and it was just a few days ago, today being May 18th, 2021. And on the 13th, Greyhound Canada shut down its doors forever. So can you talk to that and what Megabus is in relation to this happening?
Sure. So Megabus is an intercity bus company that started in North America about 15 years ago. Currently, we serve just about 100 cities all over Canada and the U.S. We're very similar in what we operate, to Greyhound. It's intercity bus service. Some of the areas we differentiate a little bit would be, where we actually operate. Our vehicles, we're quite well known for operating double deck motor coaches. So if you've seen one of ours on the road, it's a big blue bus with a lot of people refer to our mascot Chuck, the guy on the back. But yeah, we operate all over the US and Canada. But before in Canada, before Megabus, our parent company, Coach Canada, has operated in Ontario and Quebec for just over 60 years. Mainly, on the Toronto, Kingston, Montreal corridor, and from Toronto down to Niagara Falls. But for charters, lots of other activity, operational, different kind of business segments. But we certainly know buses, and we certainly know in Ontario and Quebec for a long time.
And Coach Canada is related to Coach lines in the US, correct? A very, very
Yes.
large company. Okay. So Greyhound closed its doors because of the pandemic. Apparently they dropped 95% of their ridership due to the restrictions of travel, interprovincial travel and such. And so I think Megabus saw an opportunity here in order to fill in. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Ottawa is certainly a market we've been thinking about, and we had plans to do something about in the near future, but the news from last week moved our timeline a bit and got us to the point where we quickly got our details together, and we're happy to be starting the Toronto Ottawa service this coming Thursday, 2 days from now.
And in fact, you're offering a pretty big promotion. Is that correct? Could you describe that to us?
Sure, absolutely. So the first 5 days of service from Thursday the 20th through Monday the 24th, every seat on every bus going to or from Ottawa will be free. All customers will travel for free.
That is amazing, because certainly, there was an outcry when Greyhound closed that, travel between cities was now no longer affordable, and that via rail tickets are more expensive and this and that. But there's actually other bus services, and Megabus seems to be one of them that is rising to the opportunity here. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, you mentioned there was no service. Is that correct? So the promo goes from Thursday to Monday, the 20th to 24th. But then Tuesday and Wednesday, you're gonna wait out and see what the demand is. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for now, the service is going to start operating from Thursdays to Mondays. There won't be any service on a Tuesday or Wednesday. The days we operate, it'll be 2 trips a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, in both directions. That's a starting point. We want to see how bookings go, how much demand there is, and ideally, down the road when the time is right, we will have service 7 days a week like we do on our other routes. But Thursday to Monday, 2 times a day, felt like the right level of service to get started with.
Okay, thanks for providing those specifics for us. Now, I think there's a concern also about fares. So you mentioned to me something earlier. We had a little chat about how fares are determined. So can you talk to that a little bit, and then what can be expected in terms of what this will cost in the future when the promo's over?
Sure. So our pricing, works very similar to what you'd see with an airline or a hotel. And basically, the sooner you book, the further ahead of travel you book, and the less busy the day is, the cheaper the fares will be. From there, the closer you get and the busier the day is, fares will rise. But all of our trips have at least one seat at $1. It starts there, and then it works its way up. Example we like to use: if you're booking, 6 months in advance for a Thursday in February, it's going to be a little bit cheaper than if you're booking 2 days, before the Thanksgiving holiday or Christmas or any of the typically busy travel periods of the year.
And Colin, the fares will be competitive with other bus lines. Is that correct?
Correct. Other bus lines, one of our biggest competitors is the car. So we obviously factor in the cost of driving yourself, but certainly it's a very, very dynamic model. We'll see how data goes and what that looks like. But we like to offer a very, what we call good value service. So it's a high level of service, high, customer experience. Customer satisfaction is very important, but also at the same point, we want to make sure it's value, that our customers see the value.
Right. So you mentioned high customer value. Can you talk to that a little bit? What's it like to ride in a Megabus?
Sure. So what we're known for is the double deckers. We maintain a fleet of a couple hundred of them. Right now, what we're doing, one of the most important things we can do on board is, related to COVID, extensive cleaning every time a bus comes into the yard, after every trip. That's been a big focus of ours throughout, and something we've actually been surveying customers after every trip, and have seen a really, really high response rate, that they're seeing it actually on the road. And the other really big differentiator right now that we have is we're the only major intercity bus carrier that's limiting our capacity. So right now, what we're calling it is the empty seat guarantee, but what it really means is we've capped the capacity of our buses at 50%. So if you want the seat next to you to be empty, it will be. But if you are traveling with family or a friend or somebody in your bubble, if that's the right word, then you can absolutely sit together. But at a minimum, if you want that seat next to you to be empty, it absolutely will be.
Are there any other features that differentiate a Megabus experience? Are the seats different? The windows, the equipment around, the access to plugs, for instance?
Yeah. So we have outlets on all the buses. One of the things that we get a huge demand for, and in normal times, and we hope to be back there soon, we offer reserve seating, and the key area that people love is in the top deck and the front row. If you can imagine, it's a big panoramic window, and certainly going down the road, a good bit higher than you normally be in a car. It's a different vantage point, and it's actually something our customers are really, really interested in.
Wow. I can certainly understand that. Now, ultimately, Megabus is picking up a Toronto, Scarborough, Kingston, Ottawa route. Is that correct? You had mentioned that to me earlier. Now, where would the buses stop in, for instance, Ottawa? Because I know the Catherine Street bus terminal is closed right now.
Yep. So right now we'll be stopping at the St. Laurent Center. That's that's the stop we've secured for Ottawa. That's where we'll be starting, and that's our stop in Ottawa. We'll be using our existing stops in Kingston, Scarborough, and Toronto that we've served for many years on our Toronto to Montreal corridor.
Okay, so what makes Megabus think that they will prevail in these conditions right now? Because, look what happened to Greyhound.
Yeah, so I think for Toronto and Ottawa, I guess, the two things we look at when we're starting a new route is what's the population, how many people are there, and what's the duration of a trip. So obviously, the more people and the shorter the trip, the better it is for us. So given that Toronto and Ottawa, it's the two biggest cities in Ontario, that's obviously a plus. And it's certainly within the duration of a trip that it's not, say, Toronto to Vancouver or Toronto to, San Diego. It's not, 30, 40 something hours on a bus. It's within the sweet spot, we like to call it, of duration. So that's given what we know on our Toronto to Montreal service, and certainly all of our routes throughout the U.S., the population size and the duration certainly seems to fit within what's worked elsewhere for us.
Anything else you would like our viewers to know about the role of Megabus during these times, and or anything in particular about transportation?
Sure. So, for the Toronto Ottawa route, we we want to make sure that for those that have a need for essential travel, there's a good value option out there for, a particular, portion of our customers. Bus is the only option they have. So we want to make sure that is there for them. But hopefully one day in the not too distant future, when things are returning to normal, we know there's a big pent up, demand for travel. And we're excited about those days to, be getting more service out there and more people back on the road when the time is right. And when, for health and safety reasons, things can proceed. But we're certainly happy to get things started now and excited for the future.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Colin. I'm Dr. Sam Dubé on behalf of myself and the Toronto Business Journal. We thank Colin Emberson, VP of Retail for Megabus, for joining us here today. And we'll see you again soon. Colin, thank you again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.